And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 19.
On the road!
Okay, I guess if you want to say that, on the road. We might say this is part one because we may go over the amount of time that we have on this video because of the amount of memory I have on the cell phone for the recording of this video. So there's a possibility there might be a part two if we can't get through all this within 42 minutes.
And if you see it in your cell box, there you go. If not, then it's just one video.
Okay.
Well, I have to chime in. It's not all about you. Just because it's your show, your channel, your videos, yada yada. I can just chime in whenever the fuck I feel like.
You're a guest. You're not the host. I'm the host of this fucking show.
I helped build this thing from scratch back in the day in season 1 when you had to use it on Google Hangout.
Yeah, people, if you want to go back and look at 3-year-old videos about bullshit that we talked about that sometimes came across very awkward.
Yeah, we even did
very weird, like we're doing right now. We even did Raw
and SmackDown reviews and whatnot weekly, but who knows? Anyhow,
we didn't do that.
On to the main topic. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, the EW effect is live in action come October 2nd. And why are you doing that?
You fucked up the intro to this video, and I'm not re-recording this shit.
It's random!
You're random. Look at you.
Thank you very much.
Anyways, yes, people, AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite October 2nd is the first...
If that's the official name. We don't know just yet.
Are you serious? That's not the name of it?
They did, trademark the name Tuesday Night Dynamite. It may be, but it hasn't been that name has not been official, even though it's on Wednesday.
What's wrong with Wednesday Night Dynamite?
I'm just saying, no confirmation of an official name has been announced.
Okay, well, whatever the case may be, on October 2nd on TNT, we will finally have a weekly episode of professional wrestling that is not WWE.
Praise the Lord!
Because as I've mentioned in my previous videos on this channel, that I have watched the episodes a month behind of everybody else, and I gotta admit, these shows are flat-ass boring. They're flatline. They have no life to them. Period.
Basically, the short version, they suck.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say flatline, boring, plain, and stale because they're not
because we gotta
stupid.
You gotta keep this PG. So
no. We don't need to keep it PG. We can say fuck, shit, bitch, suck, blow, whatever.
That's on you, not me.
But anyway, my point being is, guys, that the shows aren't super horrible, like to the point where they're mind-numbing, nauseating, stupid. What the hell are you doing?
My face is just kind of, shining too brightly, so.
Well, you gotta shine bright. You think you're the star of the show, so shine on! Anyway, truth of the matter is, guys, we need something new and fresh and different. It's got to give some, and it has. Part of this show is also to talk about Vince McMahon's second quarterly finances and what the results came in. He was not very happy with it. From what I read on NoDQ.com, he's actually very upset. He doesn't think that his numbers are where they should be at, and he thinks he needs to make dramatic changes.
I seriously doubt it.
Well, he slowly but surely, based on from what he said in the conference meeting from when he got the results of the financial end of things of business, he thinks it's time for change.
You want change? You want change? Quit lying to us and actually watch NXT, you fucking old man.
Well, honestly, that would be a little bit of a help with him trying to develop the stars and making them even bigger than what they were in NXT. I mean,
get your son off TV, for Christ's sakes.
Shane O'Mac. Well, I kind of like him, but for him to be the focal point of the entire show, like he's Vince McMahon, no, I don't agree with that. I don't even think Vince McMahon gave himself that much airtime as they do with Shane McMahon.
I mean, you got both on SmackDown. You can probably count. You got 3 to 5 segments of nothing but Shane.
Well, 3 to 5 minutes of Shane
segments.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you guys. At least I can skip my shit. You guys got to watch it live if you decide you want to do that shit, which I don't. I think it's garbage.
And you probably got the right idea with that one, bro.
So why don't you freaking do it?
Hey, I only watched the last 2 shows because I was expecting change with the announcement of Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff taking control. Which, newsflash, change hasn't come. In fact, there's a good chance that Eric Bischoff might even be in charge of SmackDown.
Yeah, I read a news rumor about that, which everything you hear, you should take with a grain of salt. That's really not something that needs to take seriously because, honestly, let's face facts. WWE can't be taken seriously because they don't take themselves seriously.
Except for NXT. Thank God for Triple H.
Well, again, as we've mentioned this before, between you and I in private conversations, I'll say this in front of our audience, that if you have a wrestling company, that's like having the Major League Baseball league being worse than the minor leagues. It doesn't compute. It doesn't work. That's why it's so fucking idiotic and stupid.
That's what happens when you have a geezer running this place, all on his own.
There's probably... He is finally starting to realize that he is making humongous mistakes. In which case, he needs to get Paul Heyman, and if Eric Bischoff is creative on SmackDown, they need to put some realism to this. Now, to share some ideas with you and the audience, I think that the best thing they could go with is a UFC type of feel to the show.
Yes, all you need now is Brock Lesnar on weekly.
That actually works. My attitude would be, hey, you want to be the champion? All right, well, guess what? There's going to be a change in your contract. You're going to have to show up more often. You're going to have to be there. Have some physical altercations with the characters that you're performing against at a pay-per-view. Maybe perform once in a blue moon on a Monday Night Raw. I don't understand one thing, Matt, and I don't understand this to you guys either, the audience. Why in the hell haven't Vince McMahon ever used Brock Lesnar in a Monday Night Raw matchup when he could gain ratings by doing so? You don't think that would attract ratings? I'd watch it.
Well, for one thing, Brock doesn't give a shit. Also, he wants more money for every appearance he makes. And, well, he's a bastard. So what do you want from him?
Well, then if he don't care about the product, he don't care what's giving him the money, then why not cut the cord with him? It's not like people are gonna, oh God, we can't see Brock Lesnar no more. Ah!
Oh,
Who
yeah.
gives a shit?
Exactly. You think everyone was jumping out of their seats with awe and excitement when Brock just basically stole the money in the bank from Mustafa Ali. My bad. Gotta use his full name.
You can call him Ali. It's not.
No, I refuse to address the WWE's criteria of cutting names short. It's a bullshit.
Well, I mean, granted, it's a lazy way of saying something. Mustafa Ali. What's so bad about saying Mustafa Ali? What is he worried about? The Taliban coming for him?
Let's not go digging up that.
Well, it's an Arabic.
I don't care. We don't need. You don't need to go all political on this.
Well, that's the problem with WWE. They're all political. They all have political agendas. They're going to a fucking the Middle East. They got to have Undertaker and Goldberg.
Stop mentioning that, please. Let's just ignore that.
Wait, you know what? In their defense, fuck you and anyone else that hates Goldberg and Undertaker's matchup. Because I'll tell you the truth. Those two guys are in their fucking 50s and they're
should not be wrestling.
And they're performing in front of an audience and they gave a hell of a fucking show as much as they possibly could for what they had to work with.
Yeah. Problem is, the people there just want nostalgia clips and what they saw. What's wrong with putting guys over who actually matter? Why do we need to have Taker and Goldberg?
Wait, let me stop you there for a minute. I am nothing against having nostalgia acts if they're willing to be able to do it and they can do it at the best of their ability.
And come in 2 weeks, watch the Raw, reunion on network in a couple weeks and see how well that turns out for you. And see if that nostalgia bug bites you in the ass.
Well, it shouldn't be done to a non-stop effect, like week to week it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be something of pay-per-view to pay-per-view. But every once in a while, like twice a year, I'm cool with that. Like at a fucking Arabic show, I'm okay with that. But at the same time, don't take away the talent that you have on your roster. And
this just comes from a guy who basically his jaw dropped when he saw the Brothers of Destruction versus DX.
No, it didn't.
Oh, really? Nostalgia didn't, but your balls at the idea of that match?
The build-up for it was entertaining. But the matchup itself, no, it really... Goldberg. Triple H's shoulder got injured. He almost didn't have the match with Batista. Batista came back, which, by the way, I watched that documentary, and that was a freaking awesome documentary.
Yeah, it was. You can always count WWE to do good with documentaries.
And that's something I'm going to mention right there. Their documentaries are freaking awesome. Now, if they went ahead and point in that kind of feel towards a documentary, why not apply it to a wrestling show? If you can do that good of a documentary, why can't you do that good of a freaking wrestling show?
Honestly,
It's all it
no
is
comment.
an extra hour.
Actually, no comment on that because they actually do good documentaries. So, props for them.
Well, whoever they got doing their documentaries, they should have doing the weekly televised shows.
Yeah, well, they don't, and that's the major problem. Anywho, anything else?
Well, I'm going to say this much. We need realism on professional wrestling. We need reality TV type feeling on this shit.
Yes, and reality...
Not like Total Divas, not like the...
Ms. and Mrs.?
Miss and Mrs., that kind of shit. No. I'm talking about what you're going to see in AEW is what we're talking about here right now that WWE needs to do. You're going to get wrestling. You're going to get entertainment. Yes, they are sports entertainment. They don't want to be looked at as a wrestling company. Fine, Vince, but give us wrestling, give us entertainment, sports entertainment. That's what you call yourself. So give us the sporting type like feel and entertain us with that.
Start building actual characters we can care about, like from back in the day. Honestly, you look at the wrestlers, sports entertainers, because that's a dirty word in WWE.
No, fuck that. Wrestlers.
Yeah, they have no legit wrestlers in WWE. You have no one that you can just pop with.
Yeah, because they don't make them important. They don't promote them as larger-than-life characters. That's what's missing in WWE. You utilize that with these characters now. These guys can wrestle off their ass. You give us a fucking boring-ass build, and there's been pay-per-views this year and last year that were actually good, despite the fact the builds were horrible.
Guys like, Seth Rollins, if he's done right, which he was when he first turned heel. And then guys like
I hate him as a heel.
Guys like Ricochet, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. Granted, they're not WWE original names, but these are the kind of guys you would want to see as build them as the next big names of this next generation. You know, your next Stone Cold, your next Rock, your next Triple H, yada yada.
Yeah.
But no. Instead, we get Roman Reigns shoved down our throats. Oh, and Shane McMahon. Because that's a thing.
I have to admit something, and you can't deny this. Roman Reigns is not being pushed in the main event scene right now. He's not in a world title match. He's not in the main event of pay-per-views, even with a regular matchup. You have to admit that.
Yes, but there's still the problem that he lacks any character.
I have to agree with that. He is stale. He has nothing going for him. The audience don't hate him anymore like they used to. They actually cheer for him more than boo him. But at the same time,
and Drew McIntyre needs to be pushed too. That's another guy who needs to be named.
Drew McIntyre would be a great heel for Roman Reigns to counteract with.
Yeah, problem is
they don't make Drew McIntyre win.
Yes, and he's basically Shane's lackey.
That's another problem, unless Shane becomes Drew McIntyre's lackey and starts giving him the spotlight instead of making himself important.
You think as a McMahon, he would use his, name, his, pop pushing authority to make Drew McIntyre to be this big juggernaut of threats.
Exactly. What should have happened is, if you didn't want to make Roman Reigns lose to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, fine, because you made a rematch at the Stomping Ground pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, that's another problem.
And that
too many rematches.
Yeah, most definitely.
SummerSlam card is nothing but rematches.
That's another thing. They need to go ahead and get rid of this with the constant rematches. Another thing I'll mention to you and to the audience also is they really should just go ahead and they already got their main eventers, and they shouldn't make the main eventers wrestle so much on the weekly television shows. I think they need to make their focal point on the mid-card wrestlers to help produce them into main eventers.
Exactly. Take a page from what NXT does.
I mean, you're giving Brock Lesnar time off. Why not give your main eventers that are there every week some time to just do some segments and shoot the shit and build up their shows through their matches through promos and altercations?
Because even though we have Brock versus Seth Rollins again, we have to constantly bring up the fact that he's... Oh, did you know that he's dating Becky Lynch? Because that's a thing.
Seth Rollins?
Yeah, they've been...
I knew that for months now.
I know.
Since WrestleMania.
Yeah, they have to keep bringing that up every time he's in a ring.
I will say another thing of a critique on WWE. If you go even back as far as 5 years ago, let's talk about when Batista quit the WWE because he was fed up of all the favors that he was doing for Triple H and Evolution, and he wanted to get his world title match. When he said he quit...
Was that when he was in the wheelchair and everything?
No, that was in 2010. I'm talking about 2014 after it was Payback.
Okay.
And they had that 6-man tag team elimination match.
Against the Shield.
Against the Shield.
All right.
When he went ahead and he said he quit to Triple H, I remember that episode as clear as day. Every fucking 30 minutes to an hour, they mention and revert back to that. They repeat themselves over and over again. I watched the Stomping Grounds build-up towards the Stomping Grounds pay-per-view. They kept saying the slogan, kick ass, take names. They reiterate the same thing like as if their audience have no memory, like they're old and retarded.
Yes.
They treat their audience like they don't know what the fuck it is. It's all forced. It's all push on you. It's not like let us come to you type of thing.
Yes, and that's the major problem with WWE as the main roster. Luckily, again, going back to the original meaning of this whole story, AEW. Thank God they're going to actually...
There is some things I will discuss in this video that maybe some people will dislike me for, but I haven't mentioned, but I am starting to notice it. They are... Really, I'm starting to see some kind of flaws in them.
Well, yes, you're going to see flaws.
Camera work, they're absolutely terrible in. Their commentating team, granted, is way better than WWE, but it's not hard to be better than WWE because all you got to do is fucking discuss what's going on inside the ring instead of having side conversations that mean absolutely nothing to the match that you're watching.
Oh, no. I'm not going to, point the finger and say you're wrong here. They definitely have to, improve on that. And hopefully, after a few times they're on TV, they'll start improving.
Well, they better get that shit straightened out within the next 3 months because right now, and they got 2 months in a couple of weeks.
So no, we might see a big, huge improvement come all out.
Well, whatever the case may be, the one thing that they do successful is they provide us realism. They provide us a story about real life people doing real life things with each other. They got Jon Moxley being who he is. One thing though, I absolutely am getting tired of them doing is referencing in some case of WWE.
Well, technically it's not shot to WWE. Yes, there are a few, things here, but it's mostly shot at NXT and Triple H.
Okay, so what? It doesn't matter. The point being is, look at what WCW used to do with WWE. What did they do that hurt them the most?
Oh, they announced Mick Foley won their title. Yeah, that's not going to get everyone to start turning in to check that out. It did.
It was a fucking awesome match.
I know. And everyone loved it.
Nobody expected to watch it.
Yeah, you're going to give away that. You're going to give away that.
Happened.
Spoiler. Of course, people are going to turn your shit off and go right and check out that. People love Mankind.
The other thing I'm noticing is they have too much, and Jim Cornette, he actually has a video. I read the title of his thing. I never watched the video yet, but I read the title. It says that AEW's failure might be the cause of the Young Bucks and what they've been doing.
Oh, elaborate. I haven't checked that out.
I gotta watch the video, but I think it's referencing to the Young Bucks and also the other AEW guys that like Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and I will agree with this 100%. They are making the show a little too focal point on them in the main event picture, which is what WWE does. They focal on the older wrestlers. They need to. That's why I keep saying that Hangman Page needs to be the guy to win the AEW World Championship instead of Chris Jericho.
I hear what you're saying, but when you're trying to counteract it on two broadcasts, I mean, you have on one side Randy Orton is going to probably win the WWE title at SummerSlam. That way,
bullshit.
Yeah, that way by the time they go to Fox, they have a respectable champion.
Matthew, fucking Randy Orton is not going to beat Kofi Kingston. I'm sorry to tell you that. That is not going to happen.
Kofi's had a good run, but he was never supposed to be champion away. It was a fluke, which, if you watched SmackDown, by the time you get to the show from last week, they actually referenced that back. The only reason he became champion is because Orton took out Mustafa Ali.
Which, that should be the person that wins the damn title, Mustafa Ali, not Randy Orton.
Well, possibly that could
and
be
Mustafa Ali should be a fucking heel.
Well, no.
Because the real person that should have been playing the role of Dolph Ziggler should have been Mustafa Ali.
Well, that's...
And guess what? They could have capitalized that. Doesn't he have an Arabic descent?
Okay, that has nothing to do with that. So what's their point?
My point is they went to freaking Super Showdown.
Oh, let's not even bring that up.
Wait, that would have been a great moment. You're talking about a guy who nobody ever heard of winning a 50-man battle royal, in which case people know who Mustafa Ali is. People were going crazy for Mustafa Ali going into the Elimination Chamber. I was one of those people. And for him to beat Kofi Kingston as a heel with the championship on the line, I think that would have been great.
Yeah, well, they did. Because for whatever reason, they take him off TV and just do random TV segments.
And let me tell you something else, bro. That would have been a WrestleMania equivalent or even better than what they did at WrestleMania with that matchup alone.
Whatever. Problem is they didn't. That's one of the major flaws in WWE. They don't capitalize on great ideas that fans wouldn't want.
Because it's all about propaganda. It's all about politics.
Okay. Back to AEW, which is the reason why people are clicking on it, because no one gives a shit about WWE and their flaws. and that is an absolute fact.
No, people like seeing other people smash on WWE for their mistakes. That's what they like to see. But going to AEW, CM Punk was actually in the news recently this week. He actually addressed some of his people saying that there's rumors going on about him possibly joining up with AEW. Those rumors were somewhat squashed, but not entirely. Here's the reason why. He stated that they did reach out to him. They offered him a somewhat of a contract, but in a
possible deal.
Yeah, a possible deal in a text message. Now, when you really think about this as a business person, would you want someone going ahead and texting you this information? Or would you prefer the man to call you up, say, hey, CM Punk, come on down to Jacksonville, Florida. We got to sit down. We're going to talk. Maybe we can work out a deal for you to work with us. And you can get back at WWE if you really want to. Or just want to get back into professional wrestling because that's what you want to do. But they want to send a text message to the man. Now, as a professional, would you...
I probably would appreciate the phone call rather than a text message, but...
Here's the thing. They wanted to offer him the deal over text. They weren't going to have him come into the office, in their office in Jacksonville, sit down with Tony Khan and the rest of the guys that are running creative, and talk about his contract. They just said, hey, you want to work for us in AEW, in a text message.
Yeah,
that's fucking horrible business.
I will agree to that. And there was no professionalism in there. You'd want to call. You want to get either a confirmation and then maybe set up a possible face-to-face meeting.
Well, he knows these people personally, but the thing is,
they felt too casual about it.
But you don't go casual with something that's talking about business. When you're talking about to sign someone on, to pay them for a job, because you value their work. You find them to be an asset to the company.
Oh God, would that be an asset? That'd be.
Oh, they'd be freaking.
Raw would die.
NXT would die personally.
Everything about WWE be like, remember back in the day when Vince said, "I'm gonna inject WWE with a lethal dose of poison"?
Well, CM Punk was that poison, and he fucked him over and went to the other company.
CM Punk would be 10 times worse than the laughable joke of the NWO.
Now, here's the other thing I want to discuss with you guys. There's been talks last week and still somewhat rumblings going on in the WWE about NXT, and now even from what my friend Matthew told me is that they're planning on possibly having 205 Live on
That's
FS1.
a legit rumor. The countermeasure to AEW on Wednesday nights, the fact that NXT is on there, granted on the network. So with the new Fox deal, it's a possibility that NXT could be moving to FS1 on the same day as always. Now, granted, it's an hour show, and one thing we do not want to see is NXT get extended to 2 hours at best, because it takes take longer. Granted, NXT is fine in this nice tight bubble that it is. You don't have to push too far. Yeah, when you have a nice bubble, if you extend it too much, it's going to pop.
There is one thing I'd like to throw out here. This has nothing to do with news or rumors or anything I've heard on the internet or in the dirt sheets. But wouldn't it be very interesting if Triple H got so fed up with Vince McMahon's bullshit, he decided to split ways and purchase the rights to NXT and actually create his own brand?
I don't know how that would work.
I think that would be fucking awesome. You think he has the money for that?
I'm sure.
By the way, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below about that subject, whether or not you guys think Triple H has the finances to buy out the NXT name and actually have his own show on his own and not have to be a developmental system for WWE. I'd like to hear what your comments are on that. Anyway, tell me your opinion on that. What do you think? Do you think that he could have the finances to accomplish something like that?
Well, NXT is his child. It's his project work. He basically is the Vince McMahon equivalent to NXT. He just doesn't have the ego to match that.
Okay.
So, granted, he does do all. He has everything ready to go. He has his own group, his own tech and everything, his own team to work on NXT as an individual brand. The problem is WWE refuses to acknowledge that. That's why they cripple anyone who gets called up there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe at this point, maybe Triple H is getting so fed up of it that maybe he wants to break free from WWE, have the rights to NXT, and just have his own show.
And get that individually separated from WWE while still being somewhat similar in a way, I'm afraid it doesn't work because how WWE has its roots planted in everything.
Well, the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is Triple H is going out on his own for his own business. I mean, he is such a great teller of stories. He has a great storyline team. He provides realism like what AEW is going to try to provide to us as well. And that's why they are looking at NXT as the competition instead of WWE, because they're not even in the same hemisphere.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what happened. A couple of years ago, TNA had the balls to challenge Raw on Monday nights. And what happened? They pretty much died.
How many years ago did you say? 10?
I just said a few.
Many years
ago. Because back in the day, they decided to call in Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff.
But the thing is, back then, WWE was still a solid, entertaining show that you could find some value to watch. And it was only 2 hours from Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, TNA had the balls to challenge. And back in that time, WWE didn't give a shit about TNA. They refused to.
Still don't.
Yeah, I'm just saying they refused to. And the idea, they thought they could basically hold a Monday Night War situation, they got killed. So the idea that AEW is trying to, call the decrepit wolf that is WWE Monday Night Raw and SmackDown to a fight, it's laughable. So what they're doing, they're challenging the young cub of NXT
but that's
to a
the
fight.
thing. I honestly think you're going to see more competition between NXT and AEW than you would see AEW and WWE. And I mean, by the fact is, I think people would tune in more for AEW than Monday Night Raw.
And here's the problem here. There's a possibility that Vince could call in his guns to NXT to challenge AEW. And that is a bad idea.
Wait, you're saying that Vince McMahon may actually try to use and utilize the NXT?
No. He might use his quote quote main roster guys on NXT to pull viewers away from AEW.
That would be a very
that would be a bad idea. You're taking away talent from NXT to put on guys who, yes, were on NXT back in the day, but have been so rooted in Vince's bullshit, it would ruin the show.
Well, if they reverted back to what they were doing back in the day with NXT when they were there, it wouldn't be so bad. But, no, you are absolutely right. You just pointed out a very valid fact. They keep bringing in newer and newer talent. If you put in the older talent that was on NXT, you're filling that up. You're leaving away a lot of opportunities of airtime for those other people that are already
established stars on NXT or trying to
take away from guys that have just started with WWE's roster, and you take that away from them. There, you have no use to be on the
like roster. What they did with guys like Tyler Breeze, guys who have been worthless on the main roster, put them back on NXT to reestablish themselves. Apollo Crews, he came back and had a great match with Kushida.
Yeah, that was a really good match.
But if you're trying to bring your main roster guys, Seth Rollins.
No, guys like them, like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, that are established main eventers on that show for NXT in the past, and bring them on there. That's stupid.
Because they've been too rooted in WWE's bullshit.
But you want to utilize people that you can't use all the time on a week-to-week basis on WWE. I've said it before. You ought to put them on NXT. Dolph Ziggler would be a great person to utilize for something like that on NXT.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler.
He's a big enough name. He'd be great for ratings grabber on FS1 and stuff like that.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler versus, say, Johnny Gargano. I mean,
that would be an awesome match.
I'd watch that any day of the week.
Exactly. Drew McIntyre, no, I don't think that would be a good idea.
He had his run, and he's been too rooted in there.
Even Finn Balor at this point would be a bad idea.
Samoa Joe, by all means, put him back on NXT.
Nope.
Well, okay. Because he's a great, talker on the main roster, but he's a loser in the ring.
He needs to be utilized as a tough guy the way he's been presented in the past, and that's what they need to do.
He needs to win matches. His big claim to fame is the U.S. title, and they treated that win as a joke.
Well, bottom line is, like we mentioned, they need to take some of the guys that they're not using, like what they did with Tyler Breeze, perfect idea. Can't use him on the main roster, ain't get enough airtime, fine. Put him on NXT and let him do something there.
And of course, I'm not sure if you looked into any rumors about Tyler Breeze, but there's a possibility that he's going to be in a feud with the Forgotten Sons, and they might be bringing back Fandango. Get that tag team going against the Forgotten Sons.
They definitely could use Fandango and Tyler Breeze as a tag team on that roster, because right now they don't have a tag team division at all. They've lost all their tag teams.
Oh yes, that's why you got the Street Profits.
You got You got three tag teams. That's it. You got the Forgotten Sons, the Undisputed Era, and the Street Profits.
And Orny Lorcan and Danny Burch.
Yeah, which they're not used on a regular basis anyway.
Yes.
So,
I
mean, you ain't got much of a roster.
I think one of them has even been used on 205.
There's YouTube channels that have people talk about wrestling, and they say, look at WWE's tag team division. Well, their tag team division has a lot more people on there than they do on NXT at this point. NXT used to have a big chunk of fucking tag team.
Name some good tag teams on the
That's
main
not
roster.
my point. That's not my point.
That they're actually being used.
I'm talking, and that ain't my point. My point is the tag teams that are on the main roster, there's more on there than there is on the NXT.
Yes. Also, would it kill them to put the War Raiders back on NXT? Because their run on there was cut short.
Cut short. They pretty much killed them in NXT. Trying to make them go back to NXT would be like fucking retarded.
Oh yeah?
They fucked it up. It's over. It's done.
I know, and that's a goddamn pity.
Guess what? They keep fucking up the War Raiders.
Yeah,
the War Raiders are gonna go to fucking AEW.
Oh, we can only hope. Plus, we can only hope that the hottest tag team to become free agents goes to AEW. And I'm, of course, talking about LAX.
Oh, God.
What?
God help them if they go to fucking WWE.
Yeah, well...
I don't even care if they go to NXT. I don't want them going to WWE. They do not fit in. I don't care what you say or what you want to say in the comments down below. LAX would never, ever fit in WWE. Period.
Yeah, look what Vince pretty much did to Andrade Cien Almas. Refused to push him until he learns to speak English.
That ain't my point. My point is that LAX they're not in the same realm. AEW is good for LAX. Here's the reason why. They're good for people that are in Impact Wrestling. They're good for people that have been in New Japan Wrestling. They're good for people that have been in Ring of Honor. Those three...
And other indie companies.
Well, no, these three major names that are not as big as AEW and WWE, they're more along the lines of like NXT type venues that they perform at, which even that is less than what NXT can perform at, truthfully. The point is that those have the same kind of particular style that AEW has. So people like that in those type of venues, those type of promotions, would fit better with them. Now, Tessa Blanchard, if she was to become a free agent, she would be perfect for either one of these companies, for AEW or WWE, because she could bring some realism to either one of their brands for the women's division.
Yeah, the women's division in WWE is shit. But the women's division in NXT
you have to admit, though, regardless of the fact, and I know the women's division to me is just stale, but do I think they're underutilizing the women? No. I think they're using them decently. They're giving them airtime. They're giving them importance.
Oh, airtime. You're talking about matches that last less than a minute.
Well, that's most of what the matches are on WWE these days.
And also, Tessa Blanchard, she's not a big boob blonde, is she? Because that's all WWE cares about.
She has tits, but she's black.
She'd have to dye her hair blonde just to get notified.
What are you, fucking Paige? Did you watch that movie Fighting with Family? That's what she did to fit in with the NXT roster.
I did.
You saw that movie?
Yeah, with my dad a couple weeks back.
Yeah, that was very fucked up. She had to dye her hair blonde so she felt like she could fit in.
Yeah, well,
pathetic.
That's the mentality that WWE presents to its fan base.
Bottom line, guys, this is just... bottom line, the WWE needs to make a lot of changes to their company. Even AEW needs to make some improvements with theirs.
Is getting themselves off the ground. There's going to be camera issues. There are going to be a few. It's a work in progress. Will they be 100% ready come October 2nd? I seriously doubt that.
But
will they improve after 2019 by 2020? That's a possibility.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I honestly feel, and then we're going to wrap this up because we're running out of time on this video because my memory on my cell phone is getting low. But, honestly, AEW has, in comparison to what WWE has, they have the wrestling sporting-like feel. WWE just has a 3-ring circus with no storylines and complete staleness altogether.
Yes.
So...
Okay.
You need something in there to get people interested. AEW at least has a sporting-like feel to get people that have that
They have characters.
hardcore wrestling fan mentality.
They have
interested.
matches. They have great matches. They have characters. They have storylines they can build. I mean, granted,
They're plain.
Unless you actually watch, the AEW stuff on YouTube where they actually build storylines on there, you might go into a show and think, okay, how is this match is great, but what's the storyline they're trying to tell?
Exactly.
So hopefully by the time they get on TV, you can start seeing them start building storylines.
Yeah, making major improvements and so forth. But
and here's one thing I want to...
And then we got to wrap it up.
I've mentioned, of course, with NXT possibly going live, going to FX. What time slot would you want to see them? Would you want to see them compete with...
NXT?
Yeah, NXT compete with AEW. You want them to be exactly 8 o'clock to 9, 9 to 10, try to take away that last hour?
Doesn't matter. I'm not watching them. I'm watching AEW all the way. That's my brand.
Yes, okay.
Fuck NXT and WWE. If they want to compete against AEW, I'm taking AEW over WWE.
Okay, well...
So I don't care where they put them. I'll
the...
watch them on the WWE Network then. They want to shoot themselves in the foot with that shit, they can. They'll fuck up their ratings. That's probably another reason why people don't give a fuck to watch their show, because they can watch it on the WWE Network when it comes on and it's available, and they can skip it whenever they want. And some people just deleted the subscription and just stopped watching it altogether.
Because it's so...
Boring. Pathetic.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you like this video.
Ring that bell to become a subscriber to the nation. Or whatever kind of group he wants to refer himself as.
And hit the subscribe button. I thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Ciao.